All right. We've worked on drawing in Photoshop so far this semester, and then drawing in Illustrator, and we've added some paint techniques with your animation. And now with our photos, we're going to do a new type of drawing that you'll apply all those skills to your photographs. And the author that I really recommend, she's a professor and has been teaching digital painting, digital drawing for a lot of years, is Susan Reddick Bloom, and she has a number of good books, and they're pretty clearly written. And this is from her digital painting in Photoshop, and we're going to change our drawing to charcoal drawing. And the first thing that you're going to have to do is make sure all the plugins are showing in your Photoshop. So we're going to go to Edit and Preferences, and then you want to go to Plugins. That's step one. And where it says show all filter gallery groups and names, because some of the plugins are not showing to in our newer Photoshop, you want to check that and click OK, and then you'll have to restart your computer. So remember I talked about doing multiple layers in order to work with photos. Here's a little still life I took, and I think this counts for every inch counts. And you want to do everything you can to your photo to improve it before you begin. So I had a line on the wall that I used my clone stamp, and a clone stamp will get rid of imperfections, and you just click Alt click, and then you can soften up an edge or recopy something, and I have done that with the wall over here. So there was actually a line where I had my photo booth set up. All right, so and this is Angel and Popcorn, and they were true little living dolls, so this is a doll piece. And I'm going to duplicate the background to begin, so I'm right-clicking and duplicating that layer. And now I have a copy, and I can turn the original off. And I'm going to go to Filter. This is step 2 after everything's perfect, and go down to Stylize. The Stylize has a really funky little filter, but it makes it look like a drawing. And we're going to Glowing Edges, and it makes all the edges show up as inline drawings. And you can play with your edge to make it look like a charcoal. It probably should be pretty sharp. You can up your edge brightness or down your edge brightness, and same with your smoothness. That this has so much texture in it, I might make my be a little smoother because there's a lot of different texture in the photographs. Okay, and I'm going to duplicate that layer too, because if things end up being too light in the future, I can come back to this original one, and I'm just going to turn that one off. All right, so to make it look like a drawing, we have to go to Image and Adjust and invert it. And as you see, then you got rid of the black and you have all of your little line drawing, but they're in funky colors. So there's a real easy way to deal with that. That's Image, Adjust, and Desaturate. And as you see now that it is a black and white drawing. If the lines are too light, I'm going to go into levels, because I actually want that to look a little bit more like a pencil and charcoal drawing before I start um, dealing with it. Another thing that I would do with mine, since this is going to be charcoal, as I zoom in, um, there are some areas that I would like to be darker, specifically if this is a charcoal drawing. And I'm going to go ahead and work on this and end the video for this point now. I'm going to come in before I add the white and everything else and work on darkening areas that would make sense, like their little noses and their little eyes, and the eyes of the toys. If I'm going to be adding white back in, I think it's better at this step to work on the drawing as if it was a drawing. So that's the first steps for this, and I think that you could take then almost any of your photographs without having to redraw everything, and I'll show you how to put paper behind this and make it look like it's done on paper with the next step, and then adding the charcoal in.